Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Colum. I hope you can hear me. And welcome to today's webinar. I can see in the chat that we have teachers from across ASEAN joining us for our second ASEAN webinar, from Thailand, from Vietnam, from Indonesia, and other countries. We've had teachers from many different countries in ASEAN register for today's webinar. So a warm welcome to all of you, wherever you're joining from. My name is Colum Downs, and I'm the Director for English Education and Society at the British Council in Jakarta. But actually, right now, I'm in Scotland, in the UK, and I'm joining you from close to Glasgow, because I've travelled here as part of the British Council's Climate Connection programme, and our work to support the objectives of what is called COP26, which is a big global conference that is held in order to try to tackle the effects of climate change. And that is the focus of our webinar today. It's about integrating environmental issues and climate change into English language teaching. And this is something that I've been working on for the last year with many colleagues across the British Council. But today's webinar is a conversation. It's a conversation between teachers in Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. It's a conversation between English teachers and a chemistry teacher today, who are going to talk about what they are doing to integrate environmental issues into their teaching in different contexts. And we're going to have 3 presentations to start this webinar from 3 different teachers. And then after that, we're going to have a discussion. And in the discussion, I have some questions for our teachers, but we want to hear some questions from you. So you can, throughout this webinar, put comments in the chat box. Make sure that you address your comments to everyone, not just to the panelists, so that everybody can see them. If you write a question in the chat box, please put maybe a small Q at the beginning to say Q for question, or you can use the Q&A. We have a question and answer box if you would like to do that. Okay, so we have about 1 hour. We're going to start off with 3 10-minute presentations. First of all, in a minute, I'm going to hand over to Renata. Renata's from Indonesia. She's a lecturer at Patimura University in Ambon. I'm sure if you're Indonesian, you know where that is. If you're not in Indonesia, then Ambon is in Maluku province in the eastern part of Indonesia. And Renata has been integrating environmental issues into her teaching practice for quite a long time, certainly before I started to work in this area. So she has lots of experience to draw on, and she's going to tell us a little bit more now about what she's been doing and what she's learned. Okay, so Renata, I'm going to hand over to you now. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Com. Let me share my screen. Okay, right. So I think all of you already seen my presentation. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all of you here in Ambon. It's already 6 o'clock. More than 6 o'clock. Today, I'd like to show or share things that related with our environmental English course. So one of the course, elective course from our university. Here, this course, of course, we related with the environment, but actually we start this course based on this book, so English via Environment Education. One of the editors, I think most of you recognize this person, George Jacobs. He and the other 2 editors joined with this I think kind of a workshop, and then they come up with this book. So based on this book, the writers has actually come from different universities throughout Indonesia, and two of our senior lecturers joined this, and they write one of the text or lesson from this book. So based on this book, we come up with the environmental English course. I think we start at 2003. We start with this course, and it's actually elective course with 2 credits, and the objective of the course is we only have two, that is raise awareness of students and community of environmental issues, and then the second one, put action to the heightened awareness through community service initiative. So we only have two major objectives that we have. And we always, based on our team, so main team should be based on World Environment Day, so every 5th of June. So our course start from January to June. So that's why we use this World Environment and Environment Day, 5th of June, as the main theme. And we use project-based learning because, of course, they will conduct some projects at the end of the course. For our course is actually we already have like an unofficial MOU with the Indonesian Institute of Sciences, or what we call LIPI. We also work with local people and the community, especially local people that they also concerned with the environmental awareness. For example, like a mangrove plantation in Lateri village. Some of them also cleaning local beaches. Even they create poster based on the field trip that they conduct in some of the related government. Okay, and then start from 2012 to 2015, we have working together with Access Micro Scholarship Program that is provide the English course, but at the same time, we need to build up some awareness, especially for the environment. And this kind of activities, we have some of them is recycling. So based on the main team from World Environment Day, one of the team is about recycling. So the student have to build something or recycling something from the garbage, and then they have to create new things. So like you can see like a lampstand, um, probably like a chest table. So yeah, a lamp. So this is the one of the project that we have in different years. And we have textbook. This is the one that we're going to focus later on. So this is created by our students, not from the teachers, because we want them to be creative at the end of the semester, or at the end of the day. They have to be able to create their own lesson if they will have they going they finish they graduate from the university, and they will join the schools, so they should able to create lesson or textbook. Okay, the other things that we have, photos from our poster exhibition. We a couple of years we conduct some poster exhibition because we have some activities that the student have to do before create the poster exhibition. The posters, that is a field trip to Lipi, to others local people that they visit, like mangrove plantation. And then after that, at the end of the semester, we kind of celebrating the World Environment Day by showing some posters. So this is at least some of the posters, and the posters is as you can see there, they have printed posters, but also they have handmade posters. So they just stick a couple of ideas over there. So yes, and then we provide some flyers for other people to visit our exhibition. So this is some of them. However, when we start 2020, that's what the pandemic start. We kind of shut down a little bit because we don't know how to conduct this project. Of course, we cannot do the poster exhibition, field trip, even for the recycling, we cannot do that during the pandemic in 2020. So this is the problem that we face. However, when we search for the new theme at the World Environment Day for this year, this theme would be quite interesting because the theme is about ecosystem restoration. And one of the sub-theme from ecosystem restoration, that is what they call look back, reimagine, recreate, and restore. So our course that we just finished in June last month, a couple of months ago, we need to look at our previous textbook that the students just made, and then we look back, we kind of reimagine how can we recreate this textbook. We need to look at the searching the originality of the passage. So the passage should be origin from or authentic from the student itself. If they quote from or adapt from other sources, then we have to think about how we can receive like a permission, or we can paraphrase that, or we create a new passage that would be similar with the previous text. And also we need to think about, do we need to just follow all the steps that that the student already have, or we need to rethink again? So recreate the whole thing, all the textbook that student already done before, and then we need to think, do we need a worksheet or workbook, student book, or even teacher book? That would be one of the plan for in the future. I think we need a year or 2 years just to check the all the textbook that already have. And we need to look at, is it capable for the student or not? The level of the student, do we need to use English American or British English? That's the consideration that we need to look through. That's also one of the challenging. But here I'd like to just show a glimpse of our students' work. I know this is one still far away from perfection. They still have like mistyping, misspelling, grammar errors, even the layout, the tasks that they have. We still have to work out everything. So this is also one of the exercise that they create. It's a good idea to have a crossword puzzle. However, the layout is not really suitable because the picture kind of covering all of the letters. So yes, layout that we still have to think. And then this is also like an exercise that they create, like scramble word or jumble sentence. However, we still have to think about the grammar. Is it suitable with the topic? And then the text, is it narrative or descriptive or procedure? So things of that we have to consider, and then that's the process of editing. And for us, the challenging is actually how to triggering the students to create more during the pandemic, because still we cannot do the field trip, we cannot do the exhibition. Last year we only able to have the kind of online expo, but it's only student explain about the poster. So I think this is the one that we need to move forward. So the point here is actually based on our course, and we expect that at the end of the semester, or at the end of the student, when they graduate, they can give back to the community. And let me show you one of the um, what give back to the community is our one of our alumni, Dave Chambumir, um, share one of his ideas about Sekolah Mimpi, or it's like an outdoor school for students that they were not able to achieve certain level of English proficiency. So they have a kind of activity, school activity outside, and it's already become one of our agenda for our lecturers at our English department to visit Dobo, or it's in Aru Island. They we kind of we tend to visit that area, and then we give some contribute some knowledge of ours to the students. So this is the one that for me, I think we need to give the output to the community, and this is one of the alumni achievement.
Thank you very much,
And
Renata. I'm
thank you.
afraid
Yes.
your
Yes.
time is up. That was
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep.
Quick
Thank
question
you.
for you before we go to the next speaker. Don't you think that some students find talking about the environment boring? Is it boring for students to talk about the environment in English lessons?
Okay, so my student actually, no, they didn't feel boring. Even they feel excited, curious, because our students come from different background in their high schools. They come from science background, social science background. So that's why that's one of the curiosity that they build. And until now, they still excited with the course, even the challenging, with the editing all the textbook, and at the end is enjoyment for them. So yes.
Okay, so it's you say it's definitely not boring as a topic. All
No.
right. All right, we might talk about that more a little bit later on. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Thank
Yep,
you very
thank
much
you.
for Renata from Indonesia.
Thank
We are
you.
going to move on now to our second speaker, who is from Vietnam. Now, our second speaker is not an English teacher. She is a chemistry teacher. But one of the interesting things about our next speaker, her name is Tuan. She's from Ho Chi Minh City. Hello, Tuan. Now, just before you begin, I want to tell our audience that earlier this year, Tuan did an online course called Climate Action in Language Education. We had 3 different modules running in April, May, and June. Maybe some of you also did those modules. Now, those modules were designed really for English teachers, but it was really interesting for us at the British Council to find out that Tuan had done this training, and she's a chemistry teacher. So obviously, the modules and the training that we developed was not only useful for English teachers, but for other teachers of other subjects. So in a minute, we're going to hear from Tuan. At the end of this webinar today, we're going to tell you a little bit more about how you can do those courses, that training as well, if you're interested, but that's a little bit later on. So now, Tuan, you're going to take over for us. You're going to share your screen, I think, because you have some slides. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you share your screen, or do you want me to?
Maria will help me. Yeah.
Oh, Maria will. Okay. Maria's going to share the screen.
Yes, hang on.
All right. Fantastic.
Okay. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nguyen Tân Quang. Yes. I'm from Vietnam, and I'm my school name at Nguyễn Chí Thanh High School in Ho Chi Minh City. I have a teacher chemistry with 15 years of teaching experience at lead level. Yes, as a teacher, let's look for opportunity to integrate climate change into ranges of lesson, primary, secondary, or high school education. Let's over on barrier, lack of vocabulary and knowledge about climate change. to take action on environmental issues in your classroom as soon as possible. In my presentation, I would like to talk to you about the importance of integrating climate change education into English language as well as science, and how science teacher and English teacher can work together. I will demonstrate different ways you can educate and enrich your students. Yes. How to teach climate change is still in your student. We have identified the benefit of teaching climate change in school. Teacher will find ways to bring climate change action to students. I would like to introduce 4 ways to help students get access to action climate change easily and smoothly. The first way is adding climate change topic to your teaching language lesson. The second way is participating in extracurricular activities. The third way is introduce climate change solution on school publication. The fourth way is introduce the climate science in 31 of subject. Yes, Marina, help me. Next the slide. Yes. Thank you. Fourth way. Yeah. And I first the first way, as a language teacher, I'm sure you know why to add climate change topic in your classroom. The first point is language focus in grammar and vocabulary. The second point is reading comprehension. The third point is test lesson. The fourth point is assignment. The fifth point is study from poster and playlist. Marina, help me go to the slide 5. Yes, slide 5. Yes. And an example on my slide 5. Label the part of the greenhouse effect diagram. Yes, use the diagram to answer the question. With my example, I have 5 questions, and teachers might with 5 number on the picture. Yes, yes, and you can do this. Yes, with
maybe we can. Oh, the answers are already on the slide, yeah, so people can already see the answers. I was going to challenge the audience. I was going to challenge our audience to do this task now. I think it's a fantastic exercise. So at the moment, though, these are in the correct order, yeah. Or we might make it more. We could make it more difficult if we mixed up the order. Yeah,
you think it's difficult? I don't think so. Yeah, after students study about greenhouse effects, I think they can answer quickly. Yes. My ski. Yes, thank you. And some topic reading comprehension we can do in our collection. Yes. Maria, like to slide 6. Yes. Greenhouse. What is the greenhouse effect? How the greenhouse gases includes our climates? So the greenhouse gases. Do you know? Yeah. Okay. Global warming factor. Pathway from climate change to health. How at the human phase of climate change, his floors, brown and sea level rise. Direct effect of carbon dioxide, direct. And a sample for site assignment to your student. Yes. Please, main sources of greenhouse effects. And what is your answer? Man-made sources of greenhouse effect. You can say me one man-made. Yeah, I think burning pursue pure from for agility, iron and steel manufacturing, coal mining, deforestation, livestock, chemical, and both petrochemical industries. Yes. Okay, help me continue slide 7. Yes, thank you. With the second way là activity outdoor are very popular and plentiful. Depend on your school and local condition. The level of activity did vary. We can be decorate the last room school board with environmental protection slogan. STEAM projects. Build knowledge through activity experience, through cooperation among region and nation. With the second way, I want to talk more and about team project. Yes, team project. My favorite way is team project. I would like to share a STEAM project activity that my school organized last year. Lee help me go to slide 8. Yes. Yes. This is in my team project last year at my school. Yes. Next. Yes. This is my picture after they talk about on our project. Yes. Next slide. You can see one of the infographic my student designed by English. Yes, they designed by English. In the infographic, they demonstrate their idea of using organic waste from food field to reduce dispersing liquid, organic fertilizer, enzyme solution of waste, water treatment of canal, and toilet cleaner solution. Yes, with the idea, they had contributed to reducing of amount of organic waste, and their products were completely friendly to user and the environment, very friendly to user and environment. The products were widely used and received positive feedback from customers. And after that, this team project on money so from their products were used for local charities purposes. Yeah, yeah. It is my one of informative made by my student. Yes, on design by English. You can see they are Vietnamese people design one organic by English very well. Yes. Thank you. And go to the slide 10. Yes, slide 10. Language teacher can combine with science teacher to organize students to learn practical solutions to combat global climate change. Teacher can ask students read the publication topic before and discuss them together in classroom. Some topic we can do. Reducing carbon pollution from resources, green building, renewable energy, electricity and emission, healthy benefit of activity transportation. And in my hand, have to my favorite book, mini book. I would recommend my students to read Incredible Energy and Caring of Our Planet, Caring of Our Planet. And I believe it, they will love it. Yes. Thank you, Maria. Go to slide 11. And finally, I want to introduce climate change science in festival of subjects. It is a high level for teacher. Yes, While preparing for festival, the subject day, teacher can encourage students to work on the following topic. 1. Draw painting picture, writing poem. Is see on the time to rotate the earth. 2. Design infographic with topic climate change. 3. Design cloth from recycled fashion. 4. Introduce souvenir items from recycled material made by students. Yes, and the high level public brochure poster from climate science made by teacher staff. Yeah. I don't have enough time to show on my example I have. They are copies and another file. If you are interested, we will share and learn together. Thank you for your listening. Any information that need to be shared, please contact Bridget Conceal. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Tuan. Stay with us. That was really fantastic. And obviously, as a science teacher, as a chemistry teacher, you know a lot about climate change. And you know I think it's fantastic that you have taken the course for English teachers and you're thinking about how science teachers and English teachers can work together in schools to help improve the climate and environmental literacy of our students. So their knowledge of climate science, but also their English language vocabulary in order to talk about environmental issues in English. Thank you for your brilliant ideas and your recommendations. We'll come back to you after our third speaker. So now we're moving from Vietnam across the border over to Thailand, and we're going not to Bangkok, but we're going to the north of Thailand. We're going to Chiaphum province, and we're going to speak to Ning, who's an English teacher in Sat Tri Chiaphum School. So Ning, you're our third speaker today, and it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Colum. But unfortunately, I don't know why my camera doesn't work. It worked a few minutes ago and it disappeared when I'm going to start my presentation. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we are still here together. Let me share my screen. I would like to take this 10 minutes to let you know about me more. Wait. Hope you can see my screen in a few seconds. Okay, ka. Okay. So today we are going to talk about climate action in language education, and I'm very honored to be one of the panelists of this webinar. And my presentation today is divided into 4 parts. The first one, we're going to talk about who am I, and then why I'm here. After that, I'm telling you about what I have done lately, then move to the last session, which is about my inspiration and my plan. Okay, Atithaya Pilaikun is my full name, but my students often call me Ning, which is my nickname. I am an English teacher at Sri Chayaphum School in Chayaphum province.
Ning, at the moment, your slide is, we're only seeing half of your slide. I think you might need to resize it.
I have already
all of your slide.
Oh, really?
Let's just try and re-share your screen again.
Okay. Okay. Oh,
share your screen again.
Okay. PowerPoint climate change here. Share. So is it full screen now?
One second now. Can you go to display settings maybe? And let's see, because at the moment I can. You need to press show the slide. Yeah.
I can help sharing the screen if needed.
Do you have the slides, Maria?
Yes, I have it.
All right, I'll tell you what, Ning, let's get Maria to share this slide.
Okay, thank you very much.
A good option. That's great.
Okay.
We want to make sure we can see them. No worries. Remember, if you're watching, if you have questions for after this, you can put your questions in the chat. You can put them in the Q&A box. There we go. Now we can see.
Okay, thank you very much. Next slide, please, Maria. And next slide, please. Okay. So Aditya Pilakun is my full name, and my student always call me Ning, as I mentioned. And yeah, I am from the northeast of Thailand, not the north of Thailand, as Colum just mentioned. But anyway, thank you very much, Colum, to introducing me. My school is very big school. It is the biggest school in the town. There are 3,000 girls among 300 boys. And next, please. I also have a responsibility to support exchange students from American Field Service, which as known as AFS, and Youth Exchange Scholarship, known as YES. They are from Italy, Argentina, Japan, Germany, Iceland, Egypt, and many more countries. And my school normally hosts 3 to 5 exchange students each year. And 2 years ago, I have been involved in a very big project called Boot Camp, also known as the Regional English Training Center project, which Thai Ministry of Education working closely with British Council Thailand. This mega project aims for primary and secondary school English teacher in Thailand to take a 3-week intensive training course in order to develop the community teaching skill. I was lucky to take part in the pilot project and was chosen to be one of 45 Thai master trainer who was trained to be a teacher trainer by the qualified and skillful British Council trainer. Next, please. Okay, so let's move to the next part of my presentation today. I will tell you why I am here. Firstly, it is because the global issue called climate change, which everybody around the world are talking to and doing something in action. Secondly, as an English teacher, I don't think English is just a language, but it is very powerful on whoever knows and learn English. I would like to level up my English lesson to be a starting point for my students to use it in order to open their doors to the world and communicate with the other people around the world. Moreover, I would like to know how can I integrate environmental issue effectively into my English lesson. Next, please. Maria, next, please. Okay, what I have done lately. As an English teacher who teaches English for reading and writing for grade 7 and grade 12 students at school, I brought both authentic material, like the articles or news from some newspaper or website, and the passage about the climate issue provided in the textbook into my lesson. Next, please. Maria, yeah. And again, yes, these are some examples of the topic that I have been used in my English lesson. It is about our changing planet and like Australian bushfire. This is the topic provided in the textbook that we use for my students at school. Next slide, please. So I made my reading and writing lesson to be more fun, engaging, and motivating, including some learning activities such as rip and run. Next, please. Reordering sentences, pair dictation, group discussions. And from what I have read their learning logs, I have found that they feel learning English is not boring as they take more action, be more active, not just only sit and read and do some reading comprehension worksheet all the time. So this activity help them to learn English and also practicing and gain their speaking and writing skill by sharing their idea from the given topic in each lesson. Next slide, please. Yeah, as an English teacher, I'm not teaching only in a small room at school. I sometimes bring my lesson into the village nearby school, where some of my students live there with the family. In the village, my student and exchange student learn some vocabulary, both in English and Thai. They learn what kind of food local people eat and how to cook, what local people wear, how local people plant rice. Next slide, please. Not only that, they learn how local people live their life. They also do the activity with the local people and the primary school student in the village. All the activities I have just mentioned partly involved with the climate change or global warming issue. And it has an effect on the way that people in the village live, the way they plant rice. So this kind of activity is totally meaningful and make my reading and writing lesson more active and become lively lesson. Next slide, please. Yeah, from the picture you can see they do the activity, many kind of activity, which is involved both in English and Thai. They exchange not just only the culture, but they also use the language to communicate and do the activity throughout. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the question is, what did they feel? At first, when we talk about teaching English for reading and writing, especially for the topic about climate change and global warming, it seemed difficult to make this kind of lesson, which is very serious topic, to become a fun and meaningful lesson. But from what I have done, the activity I have done, and this picture that you are watching can tell you something about how my students feel toward learning English with me. One of my reasons might be because they have a deep understanding about it and it related to their situation and they have chance to learn by doing something along the way. Next slide, please. Yeah, now I would like to talk about my inspiration and my plan I'm going to do in the near future. So my inspiration came from manufacturers. First of all, there was a huge flood took place in my town more often and more serious. Last 2 months, there was a huge amount of water came into the city and huge damage was left after those 2 weeks of flooding. Next slide, please. Yeah, even though at my school, the level of the water is about 100 centimeter, sometimes 120 centimeter high, and it was there for nearly 2 weeks. A very huge damage left after those 2 weeks. Next slide, please. During that time, I have a chance to visit my students and their family. I went there to help them, to support them, to talk with them, and bring some drinking water and food for them. Next slide, please. One of my inspiration I would like to bring into my project is the philosophy of sufficiency economy, which was introduced by His Majesty the late King Bhumibol Adulyadej. It was an approach for sustainable development based on moderation, prudence, and social immunity, using knowledge and virtue as a guideline of living. Next, please. Another inspiration is the Sustainable Development Goal, also known as the Global Goals, which was adopted by the United Nations as a universal call to action to stop poverty, to protect the planet, and to make sure that everyone enjoys peace and prosperity. This is my inspiration. And next slide, please. I would like to take this opportunity to talk about my plan in the near future as an English teacher who teach English for reading and writing. I would like to support, to guide, to encourage my students, my colleagues, and the people nearby to walk across this bridge to become a change maker. Next, please. How? As an English teacher, I am teaching English for English reading and writing. I will continue to bring this global issue into my lesson, promoting my students' critical thinking skill, encourage them to be an active global citizen who start thinking and doing something locally, even start from their own house or village. I hope my students can think globally and act locally. Moreover, taking British Council online course called Climate Action in Language Education. I wish I get new teaching techniques on this topic, new sources of teaching materials, which I can bring and adapt into my lesson. And one of my expectations is making my global network of teachers, schools, which have the same interest in running some project or want to create teaching and learning platform based on environmental issue. Hope to see you along the way. Please don't forget to wave to me if we accidentally meet somewhere along the bridge. And please don't hesitate to hold my hands and let me walk together with you. And next slide, please, which is my last slide today. So Dr. Jane Gandel have mentioned, what you do make a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. I, Atitaya Pillai-Gun, as my name, have already made a decision what I want to do to make a difference for my local, which will probably affect to the world. And how about you? So thank you very much for today. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.
Thank you very much, Ning. That was amazing as well. We've had 3 fantastic presentations. We have gone over time. I didn't want to interrupt any of our speakers because they were so good. Our speakers from Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. Ning, thank you very much for that. Lots of positive comments and coming in the chat to all of our speakers. Ning, let me just ask you. You mentioned the British Council's online course, Climate Action in Language Education. I know you were interested in it. Have you started it yet?
Yes, I have already started, but only the introduction part. I have finished just only 50% of the introduction part, but I have gone through the objective learning for each module already, and very interesting.
Okay, so you've just started. That's great.
Yeah.
But I know that Tuan, you've finished. You did it in April, May, and June. Yeah, you did all 3 modules before. You're on mute, Tuan. I need to hear you.
I see the time module 3 not available enroll today.
What was your favorite module? Module 1, module 2, or module 3?
Module 3.
Module 3.
I finished module 2, but module 3 not available enroll today.
Okay, but now what we've done is all 3 of those modules are all together in one, what we call MOOC, Massive Open Online Course. So any teacher right now can do that. In a minute, we're going to hear from one of our e-moderators, Tio, not just yet, but in a minute. Before we get to Tio, who's going to tell us more about the course and how to register, I'm just going to have a look and see what questions came up in the chat or in our Q&A box. We had a question from Upit Samimana. Hi, Upit. You're in Lampung in Indonesia. And I think your question, you were talking about, you said, maybe I'll ask Renata to answer this question because you're both Indonesian, okay? Or you already have in the chat, but you're going to tell everybody, okay? Because I can see you answered in the chat, but let's talk about it. So Upit says, it's very challenging talking about the environment. Do you have a key way of how to motivate our students to raise their awareness about it? Because plastic is the biggest problem in my school, and I think it happens everywhere in Indonesia.
Okay. So what my answer in the chat box, or not chat box, the Q&A, I said that motivate the student to aware their own surroundings and what happened in their class and school. So that's what I stand as a role model. So the student will see that, okay, this is the one that they have to follow. And then what I did is actually I always bring very simple act, but actually it will affect them instantly, because when I bring my own water bottle, I always throw my rubbish in the garbage bin. If they don't have, I bring my own garbage bin and then I throw it away. And then I always ask them to please leave no any trash in the room, and then I ask them to just clean a little bit before they leave the class. So for me, this is the one that we need to start from a very simple act, and it will affect them in the future. So that's my comment. That's it, Com.
Thanks very much. I think you make a really good point, Renata, is that as teachers, we are role models for our students. So you're being a positive role model by behaving in an environmentally responsible way, and your students will learn from that, and you're going to influence them, and then maybe they'll go back home and influence their parents or their brothers or their sisters or their community. So as a teacher, we have an incredibly important role to play in both being a role model, but also in educating our students and making them think about what they can do to live in an environmentally friendly way. I think with environmental issues, part of it is about action and about what we can do as individuals and talking about that. But part of it also has to be about understanding simply what is happening to the world, what is causing climate change, and what impact it is having in different places around the world. And I think it's good to focus on the local impact that is most immediate to students. So Ning was looking at flooding, the big floods in Thailand. I know we have floods, I think, in Indonesia and Vietnam as well. You know, this is a real impact of climate change that's happening right now. And the next bit is to think about how this is potentially going to get worse and what impact that might have on the way we need to live and the types of jobs we might have in the future. So there's all sorts of topics to get into discussions with your students with, and it's preparing them for the future through content, through knowledge and language. Let's just, are there any last questions that have come up in the chat? Sorry, Upit, it's a webinar, so you can't speak, but I'm sure you can tell us what you wanted to say in the chat if you want to, but we'd love to hear from you in the chat. I'm aware of time. There's so many things I could tell you about climate action in language education. On our website, there are lots of resources. There are some free lesson plans. I think there are 12 lesson plans that you could use straight away. There was a competition. The competition is now finished. Maria might put the link to the competition in the chat. There were some winners. In Indonesia, we had 2 schools, one from Pacitan and another school, I have to check where the other school is from, that won a competition called School Video Competition around climate action. So you can see some projects that they were doing in their schools. We have a podcast series. You can listen to different people, teachers and experts talk about this area. But our main initiative is some training for teachers. So now I'm going to hand over to Tio from Romania, who's our moderator on the course. So if you sign up for the course, you'll meet Tio. Tio, over to you to tell our teachers if they're interested in this course, how can they register?
Thank you so much, Colum. So I'm Theo and I'm an English teacher as well. So I feel really lucky because I'm a language teacher and I can use language to raise awareness in this on this topic. I'm here to show you how to enroll in this free course, give you a few tips about how to navigate the course, and hopefully share my enthusiasm for this course as well. So Colin, maybe you could share the link to this page in the chat, and once you get to this link to this page on teaching English, you will find some information about the course. You will also find that, as I said, it is free. And that we have a Facebook community as well, where teachers all over the world share their ideas, their experience, and you will meet the 3 moderators there who will share more materials and engage in discussions with you. There are very few easy steps to enroll. So if you scroll down, you will see that you have this steps how to enroll in the course. If you have an account on Teaching English, then all you have to do is log into that account and simply click on enroll on this course. It will take you to this page here. If you are already registered, or if on this course, you will find it here once you come back in My Portfolio, My Courses. If you don't have an account on Teaching English, no worries, because you can create one here. Create your free account, Teaching English account, where you will find a lot of materials. And again, if you click on enroll, it will take you to the course. I will show you in a minute. But what I want to show you is that if you are on a desktop, if you are working on a desktop or a laptop computer, you will see it like this. Okay, you will see the course here, and I will show you a few tips in a second. If you are on a mobile phone, you need to go to these 3 horizontal lines here, and you will see in My Portfolio, you will see My Courses. So all the steps are here. Just go to the blue line here, and you will have all the information. Now, let me show you something that we are really excited about. I'm sure you found a lot of inspiration in the other panelists' presentation. So if you want to find some more inspiration and some more practical ideas, you go to this free course, and you will find it here, My Courses. And once you start, so you have this, once you start the course, you will have the 3 modules, some more resources, and an introduction. The introduction is mainly to show you how to work in the course, but I will quickly show you one module. So if you go to module 1, and let me remind you about the Facebook group, join the Facebook group to find more ideas, more materials and resources, and also meet like-minded teachers all over the world. So you will have 3 units in each module. And once you have completed, it will look like this, okay? And once you haven't, and you still need to complete some activities, it will show enrolled. So all you have to do is start task, and it will take you to the modules. It is really easy to navigate through the modules. So you click on start again. And just keep in mind that these activities here are not meant to test you. They are here so that you can learn in many different ways. And in some pages, all you have to do is read information. You also have a lot of reflection here, so it will make you think about this topic and how you can introduce it into your language classes. And just remember that, so you use these arrows to navigate to the next page. Just remember that once you complete it, you need to click on finish. And if you're not satisfied with the score, with the answers, remember that you always have the try again button, which will reset the activity so that you can do it again as many times as you want. So join us in the MOOC, this open online course, massive open online course, to find some more resources, more ideas, practical tips, and also please join our Facebook page so that you can get in touch with teachers all over the world. if
Thank
you
you
have
very
any
much.
questions, and if we do have time for questions. So they are
Thank
all
you.
open. I can see that question in the, they're all open, so you can do them at your own pace, okay, and at your own time.
Thank you so much, Theo. So we have, just to let you know, over 1,500 teachers from around the world, from over 100 countries, doing the course right now. And it's open until November the 16th. It's free. Theo is going to be there as a moderator if you want to join it and tell your other teachers about it. Just before you get your certificates and we finish this webinar, Eka has asked a really good question in the chat. Thanks, Eka, for your question. She asks, would it be okay to use this module or this course as a model for teaching indigenous language? I think by your question, you mean, could you take this training course to learn how to integrate environmental issues into any classes, whether it's chemistry or language lessons using, let's say, a local language or Bahasa Indonesian? And the answer to that is absolutely. The principles in this course could be applied to an English language lesson, but the principles could also be applied to any language lesson. And I think that Tuan would tell us that the principles could also apply to a chemistry lesson. So integrating environmental issues, whether it's through deciding on topics, looking at language, looking at projects, these are things that can be integrated into all lessons. Obviously, our course is particularly aimed at English teachers because we look at improving people's English language skills. I think that there's hands up. I can see we're not doing hands up questions. If you want to put your questions in the chat, you could right now very quickly. Setia Rina and is it Chutima in Madan? Maybe next time we'll let the hands up people have their turn, but I'll look out for your questions in the chat. Apart from that, I think I'll just look at the Q&A box. Okay, and we are almost done. So thank you for your time. All of you that have joined us today for your webinar. Thanks so much to our presenters, Renata, Ning and Tuan from Indonesia, Thailand and Vietnam. Thanks to my colleagues who have supported the promotion and managing this webinar. You are all doing a great job as teachers around the world, especially in ASEAN where we are working. I hope that you join us for our forthcoming activities. We have another webinar on Saturday to do with technology, and we have another webinar coming up soon. I can't see any more questions, so I'm going to hand over to Maria, who I think is going to put up some closing slides, and these slides will show you what's coming soon and also how to get a certificate from today. Terima kasih banyak semua. Hati-hati, take care, stay safe everybody. See you next time.
Tạm biệt, tạm biệt. Tạm biệt. Goodbye everyone. See you soon.